Hey friends, it's your boy, the one and only. Thank you very much for coming back. Thank you very much for clicking. We're going to be speaking about precious metals. I want to own more precious metals, and there's always a bull market somewhere. If you want to know my opinion about crypto, go to the very end. As of now, we're going to speak about precious metals and macro, some of your favorites. I hope you like this one. Let's begin. As most of you are aware of, gold has skyrocketed and garnered a lot of attention from retail participants. There's massive queues, huge queues. It looks like an iPhone launch party. There are hundreds of people as of now, right now, queuing up to buy gold. I actually spoke about macro and particularly gold in September 2024. This is what I said during this period. I follow an individual called Russell Napper. I've been following him for a long time. I actually named this why we will never ever see a recession. During that period, there were a lot of recessionary scares, a lot of doomers out there, a lot of bears out there during that time. So I went back and referred to someone called Russell Napper. Russell Napper he's massive. He's massive. A lot of people don't know him, but he's a financial historian and he predicted everything. And he said during that time, he said gold will outperform massively. Matter of fact, I'll show you the article. He wrote this article almost a year and a half ago, and he said what to buy. He said gold is up 30% this year already, and I still want to own gold. It's a standout asset. I'm talking about nothing less than a breakdown in the global monetary system as we've known since 1994. When the Bretton Woods system broke down in 1971, gold went from $30 to $850 an ounce. The value of gold was actually $35 for 1 ounce of gold in 1971. Today, gold is valued at above 4,000 US dollars. So since the end of the gold standard in 1971, check this, the dollar has lost about 99.1%, and its gold-backed value, what cost $1 in 1971, actually cost $114 in gold terms, which is insane. He continues in the article and says, all you know is when you get a structural breakdown in the global monetary system, gold will go up. We haven't seen that move yet. I have spent 2 weeks talking to fund managers, and I can tell you they are really not into gold yet. He was right again, and during that period I actually bought some gold, and during that period I believe gold was around 2,000 US dollars, around 2,000 US dollars. Let's check. Gold was actually $1,793. Bitcoin was at 62,000 US dollars. So both gold and Bitcoin actually doubled during that period. A year later, one whole year later, gold has doubled. I'm going to speak about silver as well. Here are some of the quick highlights. Check this out. He says, first comes the seemingly benign part, which is driven by a boom in capital investment and high growth in nominal GDP. Most people will like it in the beginning, only much later when we get high inflation and high unemployment. When the scale of misallocated capital manifests itself in a high misery index, will people vote to change the system again? In 1979 and 1980s, they voted for Thatcher and Reagan, and they accepted the hard monetary policy of Paul Volcker. But there is a journey to be traveled to get to that point. And don't forget, by the time Thatcher and Reagan came in, debt to GDP had already come down to new lows. That enabled them to introduce the free market policies. In the markets in the past 40 years is useless in a new world. For the next 20 years, we need to get familiar with the concept of political economy. This period that we're living in today, I like to refer it as Trump economics, okay? It's mainly political economics, okay, guys? So we don't live in a typical capitalism economy, and history repeats time and time again. The old is now the new. So we're in a different kind of paradigm. Let's have a quick look at gold. I want to DCA and accumulate more gold. I actually want to buy more gold. And I bought during that article of Russell Napper, and I think during that time it was around 2000, and I want to DCA more. During that period, gold actually consolidated for a long time. From here to here, that was roughly around 1,350 days. I knew that there was going to be a breakout. It confirmed over here, retested and confirmed this huge, massive consolidation period. And we finally saw what the gold bugs promised us. There was a period where I did laugh at them. All I heard for like years and years and years and years and years was that gold is going to go through a super cycle. And finally, their promise came true. So gold is actually outperforming the S&P 500 on the yearly. I think in the past 3 years as well, it's outperformed the S&P 500. It's really gone from strength to strength to strength. We'll just do a quick measurement from the 2025 yearly open. Gold has gone up by 54%, while the S&P 500 today is actually puking. It's actually puking from the yearly open in 2025. It's actually gone up by 14%, which in the grand scheme of things, it's very, very good for the S&P 500. On average, the S&P 500 goes up around 6 to around 12%. So this is a very, very good return. Gold has outperformed the Nasdaq as well, tech stocks, and the Nasdaq has only gone up by 19%. It's outperformed the Dow Jones. It's outperformed the Russell 2000. It's outperformed Bitcoin. Bitcoin for the yearly, let me get rid of all of this, from the yearly lows, from the yearly open in 2025 till now, Bitcoin has only gone up by 35%. It's outperformed Ethereum slightly. Ethereum from the yearly 2025 period has gone up by 45%. It's certainly outperformed Solana and many other asset classes. I want to continue to DCA and buy some gold. So whenever it hits the EMA clouds, this is the EMA clouds, guys. It's very, very simple and easy just to help you along your way. Whenever it hits the EMA clouds, it's a good period to technically buy. Whenever it hits the 100 EMA line and the 200 EMA line, that's a scream of a buy. That's a scream of a buy. For example, this was a good period to buy, another good period to buy, again, another good period to buy, another good period to DCA and further DCA. We did say on the channel that gold is going to continue to go up higher. We did say gold is going to hit 4,000 US dollars. We were right in our thesis. I also said that gold will be the best performing asset class of this year. Long story short, I was sick and tired of holding stable coins because stable coins kept on going down and down and down and down and down. So from here, from the yearly open in 2025, ladies and gentlemen, fiat has been just continuously going down. So I needed a store of value, which wasn't Bitcoin, of course, because it's very volatile. So I needed a real store of value, which is gold. So I moved all my stable coins into whichever stable coins I was holding. I just moved them into Paxo Gold on Binance, and it's outperformed immensely. So it's outperformed majority of the markets. I was very, very pleased with that. I did tell folks, instead of you sitting on stable coins, which I know the vast majority of crypto bros are sitting on stable coins, I said just go sit on some gold, because gold is going to outperform massively. When Russell speaks, the market listens. Unfortunately, I don't hold silver. I think I missed this trade. However, I'm gonna wait for a pullback. I'm gonna wait for some sideways movement. One of the OGs on the channel was telling me about silver. He was telling me about silver. He's that silver's going to outperform. And it has. It really has. It's gone up 78%. It's outperformed gold, ladies and gentlemen. So congratulations to the subscriber. He told me about this trade. Well done to him. He's always 10 steps ahead of me. This is Palladium, and Palladium was consolidating for a very long time. Very, very long time, for 1,623 days. And as of now, it's forming a bull flag, another bull flag. I'm going to accumulate at these prices. Once it hits the EMAs over here, I would actually love to buy it at the 100-day EMA and the 200-day EMA. If not, then it's fine. As long as it heads to this area, I'm going to start accumulating some more precious metals. Then finally, we have Palladium. We have managed to turn the tide around. So this is the weekly. I'll show you on the weekly, guys, and this is very, very bullish. So whenever we have the EMAs on the weekly turn green, that means we're heading into a bull run, ladies and gentlemen. And this bull run spanned from here to here for around 994 days. So that's a good rate of return, to be fair. And we have on the weekly turned bullish, turned green. So I'm definitely going to accumulate and buy some at these lower areas. I'm waiting for something like this, and then we can head up higher. This is going to take a while, guys. It's going to take roughly 1,000 days, guys, but it's going to be better than holding on to stable coins. At the moment, stable coins, I don't care what stable coin LPs you're sitting on at the moment. I don't care if it's 23% gains APR, 5% APR, you're losing. If you're sitting on stable coins, you are actually losing. Precious metals are going to go through their super cycle. Nothing is new in markets. What is old is now new, guys. Funny enough, the bear market lasted for roughly the same period as well. So I think we're going to have a bull market of 1,000 days. Gold is going to continue to go up higher. There's no stop for gold, ladies and gentlemen. And this is just primarily China and central banks, to be fair. I'm going to show you something here, right over here. This is the stockpile of China. This is the actual stockpile of China. So from the beginning of the year, they had around 5,000 stock levels, kilograms. And right now they're sitting at 40,000. So tons of gold. Tons of gold. The interviewer posed a question and said to Russell Napper, he said, which equities should one own? And he said, this is rather tricky because if we move into a world where every developed world saving institution has to repatriate assets to buy bonds of their own government, they will need to liquidate the one asset that have all crammed into in the past years, the S&P 500. Over the past few years, all the world institutional investors have crowded into large cap US equities. If they are mandated to own domestic assets, they will be for sellers of US assets. So you would not want to own the S&P 500 because that's the asset that will be liquidated. Yes, it starts at a historically high valuation. The S&P 500 is excessively overvalued and overowned by foreigners who may be forced sellers. So what should we own? Equities that won't be liquidated because they are not overly represented in portfolios of institutional investors, the unloved, unowned asset, the mid and small caps. We're going to have a look at Bitcoin now. Okay, so Bitcoin is doing exactly how we predicted. Bitcoin is playing out exactly the same as we predicted. Now, we found a very similar pattern. In markets, things play out again and again and again and again. Bitcoin is nothing new, ladies and gentlemen. It's just gold. Ethereum is the Russell 2000 or the Nasdaq, and altcoins are primarily shitcoins. Okay, primarily they're penny stocks. All right, guys. So we're gonna look at this setup right over here that I showed you earlier. I prepared something earlier for you. This is the period we're looking at right now, ladies and gentlemen. So in October, the first beginning month of October, we had a nice green candle, then followed by two red candles. The first one was an indecisive candle which ended on a red. Then finally we have another red candle, and then finally by the end of the month in October we had a massive breakout from here to here of around 10%. So on average, October Bitcoin goes up on average around 20 to 40%. Okay, so right now we're playing out the same thing. This is on the weekly, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm expecting a red candle and then finally another red candle, and then we break out. So let me show you the smaller time frames, ladies and gentlemen. So we did predict this and we said that we're going to see a bounce before the downturn. Yeah, we said we're going to see a bounce at 117,000 US dollars. So from here to here, let me make this even more simple for you. So I'm going to show you from here to here, we're doing the exact same thing, ladies and gentlemen. So we had a bounce, proceeded to a downturn, then we formed another higher high, then a higher low, then finally we tried to break out from this area, from this range, and then finally we went up higher. From the previous period, we went down 7%. So now we have a larger market cap. So I'm expecting around 6%, so 117,000 US dollars. And then on this date right over here on the 13th Friday the 13th of October. That's the bottom. Okay, that's the bottom. Then finally we head up higher, forming higher highs and higher lows and higher highs and higher lows. All right, guys. So we're going to see a new all-time high on the 16th of October, hopefully. All right, fingers crossed. A lot of folks are going to be calling for tops. I can already imagine the cycle's done. Everything's done, guys. Let's pack it up. Let's go home. We got another full year. We got another year bear market, guys. And alts are going to go down 99.9%. Could be the case, ladies and gentlemen, but we haven't reached a leverage. We don't have leverage in altcoins at all. We got like a perpetual bear market for others. All right, if you're in the top 10, if you're in Ethereum, I'm in Ethereum. I'm sitting pretty, guys. I'm outperforming 99% of crypto. If you're trading, then good for you, ladies and gentlemen. But if you're in spot, you know, I'm sitting on Ethereum and some of the top 10. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So far, like we predicted, we did say October is going to be a bad month for altcoins. It's going to be a fantastic month for Bitcoin. There is no October for primarily altcoins. Ethereum doing exactly as I expected, ladies and gentlemen. It looks exactly the same as Amazon. Okay, crypto is not new, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to emphasize that one more time to you. It's showing the same similar setup as Amazon. What was old is now new, guys. We're gonna go to 2008, this fractal here, right over here. We're playing the same fractal as we did over here, ladies and gentlemen. This kind of sideways action right over here, just before our massive breakout to higher highs. So literally we are here, ladies and gentlemen. We're just stalling out and we're here before we see higher highs. Ethereum is on the month of October and November, doesn't do much. And I want to show you its ETH and Bitcoin pair. This is a great time to buy, ladies and gentlemen, for Ethereum. It's outperformed on its Bitcoin and Ethereum pair. This right here is on the weekly. Now, remember what I told you about Palladium and how whenever you see this EMA flip green, it means we're in a bull market. Categorically, we're in a bull market. So these are periods where you buy the dips. You genuinely buy the dips, okay? And right now we're about to form and flip into a green EMA cloud. It's going to bounce from here and then we're going to head up higher right over here. Now the kicker is this going to show the same characteristics as Tron? This is Tron divided by Bitcoin, and as you can see, since 2024 it's been outperforming Bitcoin. Matter of fact, since 2020 it's actually been outperforming Bitcoin by 314%, ladies and gentlemen. So what I'm trying to emphasize is that these things do happen. Like on the longer time frame, there are coins out here that are outperforming Bitcoin. So will Ethereum get to the higher ranges of around 0.6? It could do. It really could do. And we could, 0.5, we could head over there. But for now, my best bet is around 0.38 so far. And of course, the top 10, ladies and gentlemen, Binance is broken past the 0.1 mark right over here. We could continue to this area at $1,620 US. I mentioned BNB numerous times. ADA, the top 10, still performing. From the yearly open, we're down by 28%. XRP, we're slightly up. From here to here, we're up slightly by around 14%. Dodge, in the yearly open, we're slightly down by around we're down quite a bit by 40%. And you know, as you go down the risk curve, these coins get more and more risky. My play, as I've always said time and time again, Ethereum is the Amazon, it's Nasdaq, it's the Russell 2000. All right, guys. So you're winning if you're sitting on Ethereum. It's going to outperform Bitcoin, and it's going to outperform majority of cryptocurrencies. It has the best risk to reward. It's the operating system for stable coins. Do I need to say any more? Matter of fact, fun fact, Poly Market is actually built on Ethereum. And me personally, I don't use this, but I had no idea it was built on Ethereum. I had no idea at all. Polymarket discloses past funding rounds totaling 205 million before the 2 billion ICE investments, ladies and gentlemen. And this is built on Ethereum. These are real products, real businesses, tangible stuff. Okay, and you've got stable coins as well. And this is the power of Ethereum. It has real use case, adoption from Wall Street, so on and so forth. I can continue for days and days and days. I want to build my my precious metals portfolio, and I'm a big fan of Chinese stocks, so I'm going to delve into that another time. I hold a few Chinese stocks, to be fair. I heard a lot of bears criticizing China, and I decided to buy, and it's turned out well. So I'll let you know about some of these Chinese plays as well, until finally, fingers crossed, the crypto market finally understand that we're heading to 0.27. Once they finally capitulate, they will. It's going to all kind of get to them. You can see from the KOLs, you can see from the grifters, they're finally giving up, and that's when we buy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I love you all. Have a lovely day. Good morning, good evening, good night. Peace.